All right, so um, I was messing with the bias for a while, trying to figure out what really worked best. I settled on, I think, 50.2, 50.4. Um, Car wouldn't push as heavy into turns, and I have noticed, thanks to Jason, the car tends to lose traction out of corners if the bias is too low. So I was trying to find that happy medium between not oversteery on exit and not understeery on entry. And I've found 50.2 to 50.4 to work for me. But this is a 2042. I tried to match conditions from last night's hosted session as much as possible, and I think I nailed it. Um, Optimal is a 2039, so a 3 is possible, but it'd have to be a banger of a lap to even touch it. Most everything was, O2s or 2s, 3s, 4s for the most part. So yeah, just trying to figure out where the bias was supposed to be, and once I kind of felt happy with it, started cranking out, qualifying laps, what you might see in quali. I did do, and actually, I think this was almost a full stint the first run just to kind of get a feel for it. Uh, car was car was okay. The entire stint felt fine. Probably should only have to take lefts here. Uh, I don't think you'll need to take any rights. But yeah, the car still felt stable over the length of a full stint. Don't know how it's going to do over a full hour. I haven't done that yet, but this will be the 204-2. I'll play it through and then kind of go through and give a little rundown. So it's taken me a while to kind of adjust to this car because that and the 720, they drive so much differently. I can turn the car with throttle application on the 720. It just on slow speed exits, it just has trouble gaining traction. Um, but this car, it wants to push a lot. So I found myself like with the McLaren, I could brake really deep and really late and use throttle to kind of get the car rotated. But if I do that here, the car just doesn't really want to turn when you go to power. At least for me, it doesn't. So I find myself maybe braking a little bit early to optimize my exit. I don't know if that's a pro or con. When you're battling someone, it'll just depend. The McLaren, I had most of, or at least half of last season driving it, so I got really used to it. But let me go back. But yeah, it's a good car. I think it has a lot of potential. Just got to get acclimated to the way it drives, because it is so different than some of the others. But I think once you can get consistent with it, it's a pretty solid car. So let's run through a lap. I'll keep this up so you can see throttle and brake, and we'll go from there. So turn one, I'm going to brake just before the second set of cones. Shift down to third. I'm going to turn in a little. The car likes to rotate. I know it sounds funny saying that it wants to push on exit when you go to throttle, but take the throttle application out of it, the car naturally wants to rotate. So you can turn in a little bit later here to optimize your exit. I didn't really nail it right here. You can see I kind of had to lift on exit, whereas some other laps I was really nailing the exit and being able to stay on full power, because you can gain maybe a tenth before the next turn if you're full on power the entire time. See, I had to get a slight lift there, which did hurt me, but not as bad because this is not a super long straight, and it's not something where someone's typically going to make a move on you. The next turn, this right-hander coming up, you really need to nail the exit to protect turn 5. You'll be braking a little bit earlier in the Acura, I think, to set up this turn for better exit. I was trying to brake a little bit deeper, but I always found I would scrub too much speed mid-corner and my exit would be compromised. I feel like I'm braking very early, but I'm staying in third and really hugging that apex. And as soon as I feel I can get to power without pushing too wide, full throttle, you're not in second. I don't think second ever had a problem with losing traction, but third definitely won't. And you can really just hold it out to the edge and run all the way down to turn 5. Now here, the gravel on the right side, I'm going to brake just before it ends. I'm going to brake pretty heavy, and I'm going to try to skim the apex, try to get a little bit in the grass. The Acura does push wide here, so the more you can cut, the better. I haven't really had a problem with losing traction out of this corner, but in the McLaren, I can brake deeper and later and make the rotation. It's just I have to be very careful with throttle out of it. But with this car, if I'm to power too early, I push out far too wide. See, the car naturally just wants to push out wide. It's a tricky corner in the Acura. I don't really know how to explain it. If you brake if you brake too early, it messes up your exit, and if you brake too late, the car just wants to the back end wants to kick out. So you really need to find a good sweet spot. I actually haven't even looked at. I don't even know where my braking point is here. I just kind of feel it. Let's see. So yeah, I'm braking before you peak the crest, maybe 60%, just to get the car to slow down and be able to take the turn. Not miss the apex, because it is rather blind as you're cresting the hill. I am cutting it a little bit so I can get to power sooner. I was trying to take a little bit later entry and really optimize the exit, but then again, this car just wants to push on me, so I had to adjust how I'm attacking this turn. Literally just a couple slight lifts. Car naturally wants to rotate, and you could probably hold it full throttle through there, but I don't think you're really going to lose incredibly too much time with like one, maybe two small lifts, especially nothing that's probably going to affect you getting overtaken on this turn coming up. I'm braking pretty heavy here. Yet again, car will push out wide. You really need to be patient with throttle application, or else you will push out, get it off track, and the car tends to, if you do drop a tire, the car tends to want to spin, and this wheelbase is rather short, so if you're not quick, it'll just spin on you. Only a slight tap of the brake, about maybe a third of the way into the carousel. Lifting just to help the car rotate, because it naturally wants to rotate, so you're doing less brake application than, say, probably the McLaren would take. You just kind of work with it and try to get to where you can, after half of the carousel, you're back to full power, but you're not pushing too wide. You want to at least hug this rumble right here. So you could see my steering input I was cranked pretty hard there. Some turns I was able to be closer to that inside corner and really just optimize tire wear. You don't lose a whole ton of speed. I mean, maybe by the end of the straight a tenth or two if you nail everything else. But it's mainly just tires, keeping the tires cool. Obviously wide open. Should be that way in any GT3. This turn in the first stint, I was messing with early braking, late braking, hard braking, medium braking, just trying to figure out where the time could be gained. And it's on exit. I'm braking a little bit earlier and not as hard to be able to set myself up for a better exit. Really keep momentum throughout the turn, as opposed to carrying more speed on the straight and trying to scrub as much as I can down to make the turn. I'm keeping my speed as much or as high as possible throughout the corner so I can get back to power as soon as I can. No lift hero through there. And here, this turn, there's the change in the asphalt right here. You're going to brake shortly after it changes. I feel that's a good braking marker. Cloud coverage isn't going to change anything. It's easy to spot, and brake in a straight line to push kind of to the left of the track, just to open up the exit, and you should be able to get back to power, fairly early, and stay full throttle. It's not too terrible, but it is an important turn. It is one where you can be overtaken. Me and Odell last season had a number of good times from T1 to, was it T8? So keep that 1 to 5% brake until you're going to power, just to help keep the car rotating, keep the car settled. It's not, when you have some brake pressure, it keeps the car wanting to rotate. As soon as you take it away, it'll cause the car to push out. So I think I may have mentioned this in another video, but you want to keep a little bit of brake pressure until you're back to power for most turns, just to optimize exit. And that is a lap of Road America in the Evo, or the Acura Evo, whatever you want to call it. It goes by whatever it wants. Yeah, if any of y'all have any questions or want to see something else, just let me know, and I will try to get to it if I'm able.